Bill, thank you so much for your time today. How are you?
I'm great, guys. How are you?
Fantastic. Must be an exciting time here with everything going on with the Great Chase, but also the playoffs around the corner, eh?
Yeah, it's been a very eventful 2025 so far for obviously the Winter Classic, but then moving into Four Nations Face-Off and the game at Ohio State Stadium, trade deadline, the Gr8 chase. The playoff race has been fantastic, so it's been a great season so far.
You mentioned the Four Nations face-off. Were you guys did you guys expect it to be the success it was? I don't think anybody did, but were you hesitant about it? Did you know how it was going to go off? Did you know how the player is going to respond? And then what were you thinking once it was all said and done?
Yeah, I mean, I had very high expectations for this tournament from the start, but it would be hard for me to say that it didn't exceed those expectations. And obviously, a lot of things kind of broke right for creating something that was very, very compelling to a lot of people. But it just reinforced our confidence in kind of growing our business internationally and domestically with respect to international best on best competition. It's something people want to see. It's something that players care about, and they felt passionately about, as you could see in every game. And it was something that was enormously successful. So we're pleased for sure.
Speaking of things I want to see, the Stanley Cup playoffs, we know, Bill, that it starts on April 19th here. Has anything been decided yet that you can share with us regarding who starts that day?
We always have kind of preliminary schedules that kind of change from day to day based on what matchups look like. So no, I'm not in a position to kind of break any news today with respect to what that looks like. And as I said, it really does kind of change from day to day because we have so many windows that we need to fill for our national rights holders in both countries that it is pretty much a jigsaw puzzle until the end.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask your thoughts on this. It comes up all the time when I'm talking to just the fans of hockey, but the instance where a player goes on long-term IR before the trade deadline, they load up on some players to replace them, and then in the playoffs, that first player gets healthy and comes back, and technically they're over the cap, even though there isn't one. It seems like kind of a loophole that might lend to some unfairness with the competition. Is that something you guys talk about within the next CBA coming up in a year?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that it'll be a point of discussion with the Players Association when we talk CBA issues, and we're actually talking CBA issues currently. So I do think it's an issue that I would say a majority of our general managers would like us to try to address in a meaningful way. I would say that I think this has been an evolution. I don't think this was an area like the rule has been the same since we negotiated the cap back in 2005, right? And so I don't think it has ever been a huge loophole. Having said that, I think the way it's evolving is not positive for the game. And so I do think it ultimately needs to be addressed in a meaningful way.
Bill, this new Rogers deal is a whopper. Take us through the process. Like a deal like this, how long does it take to come together?
So this one was, believe it or not, relatively simple compared to the last one because the model exists, right? So while we made tweaks to that model and we had to negotiate what those tweaks looked like and how we were going to move forward, the mousetrap had really already been built. So then it becomes really a negotiation over what's a fair rights fee, what an appropriate rights fee. And that obviously was probably the most prolonged part of the negotiation. We had our current deal ends at the end of next season, so 25-26. In our contract, we had the ability for a first negotiation right over a 60-day period at the start of this calendar year. I think we actually started a couple days early on that by agreement with the parties, and we got to the end of that period, and I think we were pretty far along toward thinking that we would find a resolution. So we jointly extended that period for another 15 days and kind of got to kind of the final version. And we're really excited. I mean, obviously, we think Rogers has been a terrific partner of ours. I think it's gotten better as time has gone on. I think part of that's in technology innovation, that their talent enhancements, some of the rights enhancements, some of the sub-licensing they've done on different platforms, the availability of the product. So I think we're all going in the right direction, and I think it's going to be good for hockey fans in Canada for sure.
Does that change anything with the Prime broadcast on Monday nights that have been pretty popular, Bill?
So it doesn't change anything. So that contract, this is the first year of a 2-year contract that they have with Amazon. So they still have a year to run. It'll be the same program they have next year. There is a contemplation that will sell that package again, whether it be to Amazon or somebody else, a different distributor. There is certainly the deal contemplates that package doesn't go away. It might not be Monday nights, might not even be a fixed night of the week. It might take some different form. It might include some playoff inventory, but the substance of that kind of content is going to remain the same.
Bill, we're salivating over the prospects of a potential Battle of Ontario in round 1 here of the Stanley Cup playoffs. How lucrative do you think that would be for the NHL if that came together here?
Well, I mean, it's not really lucrative to the NHL per se. I think it would be good. I think it would be good for hockey. It'd be good for hockey in Ontario. It'd be, obviously great for the Sens in particular. And whether they can generate additional incremental revenue because of that rivalry, that's certainly a possibility. But I think in the overall scheme of league revenue, it's not going to be any different than any other series. I mean, I expect, and knock on wood, we're very fortunate that all of our games sell out in the playoffs. So it's not really an issue of being able to generate more revenue, either game day or rights fees. But it is certainly heightens the anticipation, the passion, the expectations, and it's exciting, right? Like if it plays out that way with Toronto and Ottawa, that means you've got a Florida-Tampa series, which is the same kind of dynamic. We have a lot of good potential first-round matchups for sure that I think people are going to enjoy and look forward to watching.
Yeah, and this playoff format, I remember when it came in, I was playing and we thought it would lend to a lot of rivalries, as we just discussed. On the flip side of that, it lends to the potential for, say, 100+ point teams to face each other, and inevitably one's going home. Is there any discussion about tweaking the playoff format, or are you guys pretty satisfied with how it is?
I think look, obviously that comes up from time to time. It's talked about, it's kicked around. I think, and the result has been we haven't changed it, right? So it means I think we're satisfied with what we've got. We feel like, first of all, it's not bad to have really good matchups in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs if you can have them. I think it's exciting for the fans. It's good for the rights holders. It's good from that perspective. And then when you say competitively, as a practical matter, you're going to have to go through those teams anyway to win a Stanley Cup championship. And so I think our clubs have come to accept that's there are pros and cons to it, but we think the pros outweigh the cons.
Has there been any traction on an 84-game regular season schedule and less exhibition games?
It's something that may be discussed in collective bargaining with the Players Association. We're not far enough along to kind of project how that will play out, but it's certainly a consideration.
I was always curious with the reffing in the playoffs. Obviously the intensity level goes up, the physicality goes up. Does the NHL say anything or prep the refs in any way, or is it just kind of organically how it happens? You're still calling the rules, you're still doing what you normally do, or is there any verbal assignments given during that period of time?
No, I think we have pre-series calls that both the commissioner and I participate in with Colin Campbell and Stephen Walcom. with the group of officials that move on. And yes, the expectation is, and we try to give them comfort in the fact that they should be calling the standard the same way they call the standard in the regular season. I think we all are, recognize that the game is a little bit different in the playoffs. So that may lend toward some people concluding that the standard's different, but it's really not. And to evidence that point, we typically have higher level of calls and minor penalties in certainly in the first round of the playoffs than we do during the regular season. So it's a little more intense and checking is a lot tighter. And so having more penalties probably makes a little more sense, but a lot of people don't suspect or don't realize that's the case.
So Canadian team hasn't won the Cup, Bill, since 1993. Does the league see that as an issue, or is parity across all markets the bigger priority right now?
Well, I mean, obviously competitive balance among all markets and the ability to compete for a championship are what's paramount to us. The fact is we have 32 teams now. So the fact that a Canadian team hasn't won, is probably, we're probably now into the area where it would be unusual and probably not statistically consistent, or I don't even know what the right term is there. So the fact that it can and should happen at some point soon is probably a reality, but it's not a concern that the Canadian team hasn't won. It kind of is what it is from that perspective.
No, that's fair. And the great chase, we'll wrap with this. I just think it's so amazing. I talked about this earlier on, how I remember the first game of Alex Ovechkin's career, and now he's about to pass Wayne Gretzky. What's it been like to sort of be with the league during this crazy run for him?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point, and I feel kind of the same way. I mean, and that wasn't, I go back to the start of Alex's career and was coming out of obviously the year-long lockout. So he and Sid kind of starting kind of the new era of the NHL, and really being terrific ambassadors for the game over that 20-year time period. It's been 20 years now. And the accomplishments they've both had and achieved during that time period, it's great that they've gotten to this point where people are recognizing that and giving them their due on it. I mean, if you look at Alex's stats over 20 years in the National Hockey League, 19 of those years he had 30 or more goals, and the year he didn't was a 48-game season in 2012-13 where he had 24 in Russia. So I mean, it's just remarkable the consistency over such a long time period, and hardly missing any games, missing a month this year, but beyond that, hardly missing any games over a 20-year period with the game as physically as he plays it, or historically has played it. It's unbelievable. It's really something that we're very proud of on his behalf, but it's been great for the National Hockey League.
Give us a little. What do you guys got planned? Fireworks? Are you going to be part of sort of the crew that goes along to every game now too?
So I'm going to be in Washington tonight,
Nice.
and I plan on going out to the island on Sunday. But we have a lot going on too. The commissioner will make it a point to be at every game between now and the time he breaks it. Maybe that's in the next two games. Maybe it's not. But there will be appropriate ceremony, after he breaks the record, as there was for Wayne. And that was when the commissioner just started. So this is his second all-time goal scoring record. So it'll be fun. It'll be something I'm looking forward to.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.